Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're gonna try something really fun and also pretty random in the sense that there is no sketch, there is no draft. We'll just improvise on the paper using watercolors. Okay, so now we divide this paper into grades using the tapes, and I have pretty wide tapes, so actually I cut them in half manually and then put on the tapes, so I did not record that part, which is kind of messy. Now we have 8 small pieces of paper that we can work on, and these are thumbnails, and they're pretty small. The first step is to add the background color to each of the thumbnail, and I'm trying to use pretty random colors. I try to make it lighter to the top and darker to the bottom, but what exactly the color I'm using is relatively random. I just want to play with the colors and eventually add some details. Since English is not my first language, I speak it a little slowly. In previous videos, I tried to speed up it a little bit using iMovie, but I'm not sure that's the best effect, because it actually changes my voice, making my voice sounds way younger than I actually am. So I'm open to suggestions, and tell me what you think, which way you would like. You would like the speed up of the voice, or actually I'm talking in my normal voice. For people watching my video for the first time, this is Kara. I'm not a professional artist, but I like drawing, and I'm doing these videos to show you how you can enjoy painting without going through professional training. I usually plan ahead before I draw, but this time I just want to try something different, so I don't even know what I would draw before I started. So at this moment, I'm just using some random color and connecting them together, and I'm just playing with the colors, and I don't really know what I would draw. So previously I've never tried this before, but after I tried it, I believe this is a great way to get familiar with the tools, with the paper, with the watercolor, with the brushes. You're just getting more comfortable with those things while you're creating the thumbnails. So it's always the hardest to get started. And for the first one, I actually got some inspiration from a YouTuber called Draw with Shiba. So this is a mountain and some river that I'm trying to create. It's not exactly the same as what she is drawing, but I think this is also like a warming up process for me, and it gets me more comfortable with this thumbnail painting. Since these paintings are gonna take a while to dry before you can apply another layer, I'm actually doing a coarse setup of the structures that I want to put into the thumbnails before I add more details in a second round. So sometimes I don't really have a good idea what I need to put into that thumbnail, so I sometimes just draw some random things. So here I'm drawing some trees and then I give up. I don't know how to draw, add other things, so I just move to another one and come back later when I get more inspirations. I don't really have a good plan when I first get out the background color, but once I look at the color, sometimes I get inspirations from it. For example, this one, I can see I have yellow and green in the background, and that feels like it's some forest where the yellow one is kind of the soil and the green one is sort of the background color from the forest. The last one is something I like the best. Initially, it looks like a failure because the background wash is really not smooth. But after using that edge as something, as a building block for the creation, it's actually become really, really nice. After finishing the first round, in first few thumbnails have already dried out, so I started working on the second layer where I'm putting on more details. So the first one comes out really nicely, so I'm only adding some smaller details like trees or houses to make it slightly more detailed. The second one is still nothing, kind of. But right after I finished the first one, I feel like I got inspiration that there could be a lake surrounding by trees, and I also tried to add some high voltage poles across the lake. I think that's really nice. The third one is kind of boring, so I added some shades to mimic some buildings in the darkness, and I think it's pretty nice. The fourth one I want to mimic as if there's some road along these hills, so that it is kind of more detailed. And I also added an airplane eventually. The fifth one is really red, so it gives me the impression of sunset time. So I added some hot air balloon. I think that comes out pretty nicely as well. I also added a sun with kind of golden beams. The sixth one is pretty green. It gives me the impression of just a lot of leaves. So I just create darker and darker leaves to create kind of a depth in the scene. I like the idea of the seventh one, but I just need to add more shades to kind of mimic the sunlight effect in the forest. Alright, it's kind of finished in terms of the creation part. Now I think we just need to add some more touch up to the details. I add more highlights in the bright area and add more darkness to the shadow area and so on. The last step is to use some acrylic paint to add even more highlights to watercolors. This is not really necessary, I just really love those pens. I just like create more details like clouds and stuff, and sunlight for the seventh one. Add more dots in the sixth one, and clouds, and again, just more details. Cool, that's about our thumbnails, and let's peel off those tapes and see the result. It's so super exciting. I hope you liked today's thumbnail painting. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe my YouTube channel. Feel free to ask me any questions in the comments. If you like my video, give me a thumb up. I really appreciate it. And see you next time.